plaintiff, Lydia Snowden, says when the defendant was 12 years old, she found out that her father wasn't her biological father. And since then, she's been resentful towards Lydia. She's suing her daughter today for unpaid loans. Defendant Brianna Wilson claims Lydia always favored her sister, and she feels it's because Brianna was the product of an affair, and Lydia still had bad feelings towards her biological father. Brianna denies owing her mother for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
All right, so Judge Mathis, this is my daughter Brianna Wilson, and by far I've been the perfect parent. I'm going to take you some years back when she was 12. She found out that her dad wasn't her biological father from a family member. We found out when she was 2 that she wasn't his biological daughter, but he decided he wanted to wait till she get older to tell her. And
so what has been happening since that time? You're saying behavioral problems or something? Or?
yeah, she's just been like, she felt like I owe her the world because of what happened. But we never changed how we felt about her. He never changed how he felt about her. But she was just real resentment because she was so hurt. She was only 12 when she found out, and she was by herself. I was at work. I had to come home from work, and she was just tore up. So she asked me, could she meet her biological father? And she asked me, did I know him? And I said, yeah. I've always been in contact with him. He know about your dance classes, ballet classes. He know about your father. He know about everything. So she asked me, could she meet him? I called him that night, and I told him that she knew. A family member leaked it out. So he said, oh, God, I thought we wasn't going to tell her until she got older. So he said, can I speak to her? And I let her speak to him. She really doesn't want a relationship with him, but he wants a relationship with her. But I think she feel like she maybe betrayed her father by having a relationship with another man. I told her father is fine with her having a relationship. So I overdid it. I overcompensated her. And I really caused the problem with her being as spoiled as she is, thinking that I owe her the world. And then, like, if I had the world, I would give it to her. But I don't have it. I'm on a fixed income. And whenever she needs something, I give it to her. I always say, give it back. But I never get it back.
We hear from you, young lady.
Well, I want to start with saying I love my mother, but I feel like I'm the black sheep of the family. Once I found out when I was 12, I really realized why I felt this way.
How were you being treated
it was,
to make you feel like you were the black sheep?
Just like favoritism between me and my sister. I just saw a big difference.
That's not true. That's not true, Your Honor. My oldest daughter...
Tell her how she feel.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
Okay, so once I met him, once I saw them interact with each other, I started like looking back like, okay, why they acting a little weird or whatever. So once I got him alone, he started telling me that he was having an affair with his wife, and my mother was pregnant with me, and then I guess she was trying to give him an ultimatum, her or the wife, and he chose the wife, and then I started seeing why.
Your Honor, that's not true. Her father didn't tell her the truth, and that's wrong. I never told that man that he had to leave his wife. I told that man when she was 2 to take care of his daughter. That's what I told him. I never knew until right now that he told my daughter that. That's not true. I never, ever told that man to leave his wife.
Well,
and I'm sorry that you had to hear that, but it's not true. I love that girl. I love her more than... And I'm not going to say anybody because I have another daughter, but I love that girl. And I gave her everything. I borrowed money from the credit union.
Me about her, ma'am. You told me about yourself and how you feel. Now I need to hear about her life and how she feels.
Ever since then, it would just change. Once I found out about him, it was changed. Like it wasn't really bad, but it was moments where it was like, okay, now I know about him. Now it's like I see him more in you. So it was just a lot of change, favoritism. Then it got so bad when I was like 17. I moved out to go move with my girlfriend. Like it was so controlling. It was like it was a lot on me, and I just couldn't deal with it. So that was that. Moved out. Had to really fend for myself. I was buying stuff for myself. Yes, she would be there if I needed, because I was living with another person. If I needed food, she would give it to me. Money, she would give it to me. But it wasn't a lot of times I really needed it, if you get what I'm saying.
What did you do after high school?
I went to college
Good.
for criminal justice, but that didn't stick.
Why?
Money. I needed a job. I had a job and I was going to school. I was going through depression. Nobody knows.
Right. That.
Your Honor, I took her to college. I did the financial aid papers. She just didn't stay.
Okay. And now we're hearing that it was depression, which is certainly something that would interfere with your schooling. And what are you doing with your life?
Right now, I do hair from time to time. I'm unemployed right now, though, because
Last time you were employed?
2020, when I was pregnant. That's it.
And was your the father of your child employed?
No, he's not around at all.
He has, okay. And you don't have anything beyond the high school diploma to get a job with, which is unlikely these days that you can get anything to take care of a family with just a high school diploma. You need some type of paperwork, skilled trade, community college certificate or degree, associate's degree from a community college, or a bachelor's, or an apprenticeship program in carpentry and making code for computers. There's a lot of areas that you could access and be successful at.
My mother was pregnant with me, and then I guess she was trying to give him an ultimatum, her or the wife, and he chose the wife, and then I started seeing why.
Your Honor, that's not true. Her father didn't tell her the truth, and that's wrong. I never told that man that he had to leave his wife. I told that man when she was 2 to take care of his daughter. And I'm sorry that you had to hear that, but it's not true. I love that girl.
Plaintiff Lydia Snowden admits that years ago, she had an affair and became pregnant with the defendant. And she believes the defendant resents her because of this.
What's your plan on how to take care of yourself and your child? What's your plan?
I'm into entrepreneurship, so.
So what's the plan?
Once I get the money for it, I want to just start different businesses. Like I want to do hair. I'm practicing doing nails right now. Clothes. I'm into that type of stuff.
All right, how you gonna get the money?
Gotta work for it. I'm actually I have the nail stuff and everything. I'm practicing. Once I start getting money rolling in, then I could.
Why you gotta practice? Why can't you get clients? You need a license?
I need a license. I would need more practice because I'm not all that good right now.
Okay.
But I'm getting somewhere.
All right, but you hang in there in that area. But in terms of your, how it affected you emotionally, how have you handled that?
The depression.
Yes.
I literally deal with all my problems myself. I don't really talk.
And I don't know if that's going to work well or well enough. I think you could be better. It might work well enough, but you won't excel at your best if you have an obstacle, if you have depression. My daughter suffers from depression, Jade, and she had a essentially learning disorder because of that depression. It was tough on her getting through college. When she got into law school, it was tough getting in. But she's a big success story. And she's on the lecture circuit now, lecturing about it, about mental health and how to cope with it. So look into that so you can become a success story. And you can overcome it by going to counseling and see what they say you might need to do to cope with a depression that could be chemical-based, which is my daughter, or it could be trauma-based. People fall into mental illness, sometimes societal, trauma, people in the army, people in the streets, which is like the army in some neighborhoods, post-traumatic stress syndrome. That isn't chemical, that's from society. But then you have clinical depression, which is imbalance in your brain. So find out, you don't even know.
Yeah.
So find out and learn how to work with it and deal with it and cope with it and adjust to it. And then get out there and talk about it so that you can be an inspiration to other kids, all right?
All right.
Because I can tell you have the tools, you have the presentation, You might need to smile when you're talking to these folks. I know you're in court being sued, so this might not be the right smiling venue for you. But yeah, see, I'm looking at that smile. Very charismatic smile, okay? So, the loan, which matters the least today. Yeah. How does she owe you for the loan? I know folks always say, why doesn't he get to the lawsuit all the time?
That's
fine. Lawsuit matters less in most of these cases.
Can I tell you something before we talk about the loan? I took her to Baltimore one time for a weekend vacation. We stayed at Motel 6. She started screaming and hollering, telling me I'm poor. I'm not wealthy, but she acted fool in Baltimore because we stayed at a Motel 6.
How old was she?
15.
Can we move on to what you're doing about
no,
this loan? You're not getting it, ma'am.
No.
Since age 12, her whole life has been full of trauma, mental trauma, based on what you all did with her. And I don't know why parents, they do all this stuff and then think they can traumatize these kids and then say, see that, Judge? Drug addicts do that regularly, or recovering addicts. Been on crack all your life. Your kids get taken from you and go to foster care. Then you come out and you get your kids back after you've been smoking crack for 10 years. Not you. I'm giving you examples of what people do. I see it all the time. You've been smoking crack, using heroin, using pills. Then suddenly, I want my kids back. I want my kids back. Fine. You get back united with your child. You got to come in here and sue the child over something. Church, she's no good. She's never been any good. Well, what age did she stop being a good child? At age 7, time I came home from my crack addiction. Okay, what about 1 through 7? Was she a bad child there? I don't know, I was smoking crack. And you didn't know her from 1 to 7 because you were smoking crack. She was in foster care until you came back. And now you want to get on, she ain't no, you ain't nothing. Everything happened to this child is a result of that trauma. So I'm not going to let you sit here and criticize. Every time you criticize her, I'm going to bring it back to you.
I see.
I don't want to bring it back to you.
I take full responsibility for what happened.
Thank you, Doc.
I do. I had an entanglement, and I take full responsibility for that. Like I said, I love this girl. Even if I didn't love her father, I love her. I love what I made. You should listen. I got a lot of respect for your mother. She made a major mistake that affected you the rest of your life. We understand that. But if you're going to forgive anybody, it's your mother that you're going to forgive. You didn't forgive all these other people that did you wrong over your life. You don't even have to tell me. I know you have.
I cut people off.
Huh?
I cut people off.
She don't cut me off. She just go in my pockets.
I'm not talking to you.
I know. This your favorite. Never mind. I'm just going to sit over here and be quiet. I'm just going to be quiet.
Ma'am, I like you, though. She's my favorite. How does she owe you $800?
All right, so she was working for a friend, and he gave her a check. He paid her in a check. She gets to the check cashier. The cashier check. The check is no good. So the cashier asked her, could she stay? And she was like, this check is no good. I have to call the cops. Can you stay? She stayed because that's the right thing to do. So they came out. They told her, we're not going to take you to the station. We're going to give you a summons to come to court. So she had to pay the money back. And I loaned her the money.
Okay.
Then she had another ticket in Morristown for noise ordinance because she's in the car with her friends and the music was too loud.
I can tell you have the tools. You have the presentation. You might need to smile when you're talking to these folks. I know you're in court being sued. Yeah, see, I'm looking at that smile. Very charismatic smile, okay? So, how does she owe you for the loan? I know folks always say, why doesn't he get to the lawsuit all the time?
That's
This
right.
lawsuit matters less in most of these cases.
Plaintiff Lydia Snowden admits that years ago, she had an affair and became pregnant with the defendant. And she believes the defendant resents her because of this.
Did you agree to repay your mother?
No.
What?
You have any evidence that she agreed
Your
to
Honor,
repay you?
I'm going to look her right in her eyes, and if she...
No.
Brianna, you didn't tell me you was... You know what? Okay.
I didn't. No.
Your Honor, I took her to court. Matter of fact, I'm always taking her to court. I took her to court, and it was $56.
You have any evidence that she agreed to repay you?
No, word of mouth. I'm not going to lie on her. I'm not going to do that. I promise you, she agreed to repay me.
You got to have evidence if
okay.
the other person denies.
No, I have the ticket.
Yeah, but that may mean that what she's saying is that as mom gifted me money to get out of trouble, which is not unusual. Particularly with a young lady that has a child and underemployed, or at this point unemployed.
At this time, she didn't have my granddaughter.
Pardon?
At this time, she didn't have my granddaughter.
I was unemployed. Nothing.
You
Okay.
got evidence that she
All right.
agreed to pay, ma'am?
If we're going to put this on this side, I don't have evidence for that.
Okay. Well, I
Guess-
can't grant you anything unless you have
Yeah, you
evidence.
can. Because I have evidence for the promissory note for the
There you go.
check. I have
All
that.
right.
And I also have $150 that
Unless she's going to admit to something other than this, what it appears she signed, I can't grant you judgment. Mommy, can you please pay me? Line for me. I will pay you back when I get my income. When I get my income tax.
and Judge Mathis, I know you say don't trust people that say income
That's
tax.
right. You should have
You say that all
ran.
the time, but I
You
give her
should
the
put your
benefit of
money in
the
your
doubt.
pocket and ran the other way, daughter or not. You knew you weren't getting your money when she told you that. So $597, unless you got some evidence that she was going to agree to pay you more than $597. That's all I can give you. And what you trying to get? The nail certificate?
Yes.
What do you have to do for that? Don't you have to take some
That's
classes
cosmetology
somewhere?
school. Cosmetology school.
We're going to put you in one and pay for
Oh,
it.
wow.
All right?
Thank you.
All right. So I don't want no stuff
Thank
out of
you.
you. We're going to keep up with you, too.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. You agree as an exchange to make sure that you go?
Yes.
All right. And I agreed. So that's a contract.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm signing
Please don't
it.
make a contract with a judge.
She said I signed
I'm
it
signing
now.
it.
That is not a good idea.
Yep.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. You know you my baby. I love you to death. And there's nothing in this world I wait and do for you. But I'm not babysitting no more until I get the rest of this money from you. That's it. No, I'm just joking. I'm babysitting. I love that baby. Look at her. Look at her. She said her heart about to stop because I said I'm not babysitting. Yeah. You see?
I just want to put this past us. I don't want to keep
Yeah.
fighting and bickering about money. Like, love is way bigger than some money. And I just need that.
When you borrow, can you please just pay it back?
I will.